listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Grammer. Wounded Warrior Project supports injured veterans by connecting them with fellow warriors, by serving them through mental health and wellness programs, and by empowering them to live on their own terms. No one should face a battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
As a parent, your life is your child.
With Luke, he's the whole world, you know?
He was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and it just rips your heart out. You feel completely helpless.
But when you come to St. Jude, that is a whole nother level of care.
You have cutting-edge scientific research here, doctors at the top of their game, and there's nothing but love in everything that they do.
I asked my wife, I was like, what is this going to cost us? And then we did a little bit of research, and then we realized that no family ever receives a bill.
St. Jude covers the cost of everything so that we could focus on our family. St. Jude gave our family the chance to be together. They saved our son's life, and we did not pay a cent. And that wouldn't have been possible without St. Jude.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Jared Mans from the Spring Lake Fire Department, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Okay, good morning, Rick Remsnyder.
Lawrence Maxwell, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm happy it's Friday.
TGIF?
Yeah, I am. It's been a long week. Traveling. I got to go pick up a friend from the airport today. The Giants game is on Sunday. Did you catch any of the game last night?
No, I didn't. I was playing in a golf tournament in Greene County, Blackhead Mountain. Probably didn't get back until around 9, and I was a little beat. It's a long day, so I did not see one snap, unfortunately.
Yeah, I actually watched it till the end. The Cowboys actually looked better than I thought they did. I thought they were going to be this year, and they could have won it if Zerline didn't miss that field goal. They had the ball. They drove down the field. The Tampa Bay's defense didn't look all as good as it was last year. They drove down the field, set them up for I want to say it was a 35, maybe it was a 40-yarder. It wasn't a chip shot, but it wasn't that long either, and he just hooked it right to the left.
Wow.
If he would have made that, they would have had to score a touchdown, and then Brady drove him down the field about, I want to say, 60 yards, got him in field goal range. He drilled it, and they won as the time expired.
He's amazing. I mean,
I didn't know who to root for because I'm not really a big Brady fan, and I'm not a Cowboy fan either. But I didn't want the Cowboys to win because, obviously I don't want them to get a leg up on the Giants. But they look good, man. Dak looked pretty good last night. CeeDee Lamb looked good, so. Yankees lost again, didn't they?
Yeah, I think it's 6 or 7 in a row now. So it's been a very weird season for the Yankees. They went on that 13-game winning streak and everything looked fine. And I still think and then they started losing. I still think they're fine. They're going to be in the playoffs, but wild card. But the thing it is,
they're actually tied with. There's a 3-way tie for the wild card spot, but I think the top 2 teams or wild card teams go now.
Yep. Well, the thing it is, you want to avoid that one game because one game playoff is such a crapshoot, and then you're going to have to face the other team's best pitcher. Let's say the Yankees get Garrett Cole. Well, you would think they would win that game, but now their ace is not playing in the next round, so it's a little tough. But I think the Yankees
that's a good point, because then he would have to go. You got to put your ace up, because if you don't win that game, then you're not in.
Exactly.
So you would have to put Cole up at that, and then he wouldn't be able to go for the actual series.
So that's why you want to. It's been a weird year for the Yankees.
At one point at the year, I was just I couldn't even watch them anymore. But they're having a hard time with Baltimore too, and Baltimore's like 43 games out of first place. So. But anyway, the meeting went well the other night at Old Savannah for the Happy Christmas Fun.
Yeah, that was.
I have those things that Bob Circusano, he sent them over yesterday.
Great.
So those what we'll do is either I can print them out, or you have a computer at home, right?
Yeah.
So we can figure it out.
Yeah, just email them to me.
Yeah, we just want to change the names in there. Obviously, we don't want to hand out flyers with Bob's name on there. We want to put our own names on there. But the fact that he went up and made them for us was absolutely awesome. So.
He's tremendous, isn't he?
Bob is, man. That's
yeah, we got
he's like a fundraising machine, that guy. He just he's great. I don't know what we do without him. Who we got on tap today, Rick?
Got a really good show. We have Amberley Jane Campbell of Shawangunk Journal, the Kingston Wire. She'll be in at 7:30. Haven't had her on the show for a while. Talk about everything that's going on in the newspaper business. Then we have Jess Davis of Ulster County Chamber of Commerce in at 8 in the studio. Amberley's also in the studio. And then at 8:30, I have Robert Selkowitz with talking about his road rally, which I believe it's in the fourth year, and it's all these antique cars that run basically in Ulster and into Delaware. So Robert is really involved in that. When I was at tourism, work with him to promote this race. Not race. I got to keep saying it's a rally. It's not a race. And so we got a really good lineup today. Looking forward to having them here. So
they're all in the studio.
Robert is calling in.
Okay.
Amberley and Jess will be in the studio.
Cool.
It looks like a nice weekend weather-wise.
Yeah, it's gonna be hot at the Giant game on Sunday. And now it's 87. Thank God it's a night game, but tailgating in the parking lot. I told Cam, you better bring the tent.
Who are they playing this weekend?
They're playing the Broncos, so they better win, because the Broncos are terrible.
I'm surprised that it's like are the Broncos a 1 or 2 point favorite or something? That's really surprising.
How can the Giants be favored at anything? Their offense is terrible. Yeah. But their defense, though, looks really good. I have a feeling that it's going to be a low-scoring game, but Teddy Bridgewater, the quarterback of the Denver Broncos, actually beat out the other guy, Drew Lock, that was starting last year. So, I mean, Bridgewater's a good quarterback, but he hasn't, he just hasn't had he's going to want to,
let me see what
stuff to get because basically when you're on a 1-year contract, you're playing to get another job somewhere.
Right.
I'm surprised no one's picked up Cam Newton yet. I mean, I know he's 32, but
I don't know. I see the Giants are a 3-point underdog, +3. Boy, I don't know. I'd have to jump on the Giants, I think. I don't know.
You know what? Save your money. Don't bet the Giants. Right?
No. I have to say I'm on the over with the Giants.
What is the over?
I believe
48.
I believe it was 6. Let me see. I think to win the over, you have to.
I thought you meant the total points of the game.
Oh, that. Oh, okay. I was talking about the season.
Did you get the post today, Rick?
What's that?
Did you get the post today?
No, I didn't. 41.5 is the over.
Oh, wow, that's low.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at some of the other games. Packers and the Saints, 49.5. Ravens and 50.5 with the Ravens. Ravens and Raiders. So week 2, the Giants again are underdogs.
Yeah, well, they play Thursday night. They play 2 games in 5 days.
Yeah, they're at Washington football.
And then
team.
they have 10 days off. But the thing that's messed up now, excuse me, the Saints have to play their game in Jacksonville today because of Ida.
Oh, okay.
Or not today, on Sunday, sorry. So they got moved to Jacksonville. So then they're on the road for the next 2 weeks. The Saints' schedule is really weird. For the first 8 games of the year, they're on the road a lot. And then the last 8 games of the year, or 9 games, they're at home a lot. But it's looking like that their home opener now is going to be against the Giants. And you remember the year Katrina happened,
right.
They went to the Super Bowl and took, or the next year when they came back to their stadium with all the fans, and they won the Super Bowl that year. So, people love the Saints in New Orleans. So that's going to be that game that looked like it was going to be easy because Breeze retired.
Right.
So he's gone. He was actually on TV last night with Collinsworth and what's his name there? Al Michaels.
Al Michaels. Yeah. Well, the over-under, by the way, I feel like I'm the sports book. For the Giants win total is 7.
That's what they got. The Post has them at 9, going 9-8.
Yeah.
They added an extra game this year. So
yeah, you have to remember that. So anyway, got a good weekend of high school football.
So is the first Kingston High School game tonight?
No, they actually played last week. They beat.
That was their first game?
Yeah, they beat Poughkeepsie. They're at
now?
Beacon.
Really? Aren't they still in? Isn't Kingston still in OC? What is it?
OCIAA.
Yeah, AA, right?
Yeah, their schedule is they could very easily, Kingston, go 5-0 before they start playing some good competition because they beat Poughkeepsie. They're at Beacon, who just came back into Section 9.
Tonight?
Then they got Saugerties and Red Hook. Why they're playing these
Kingston
small...
plays Saugerties now?
Saugerties, Red Hook. These are like non-league
But we
games.
never ever played... When I went to Kingston High School, we never played Saugerties or Poughkeepsie.
Or Red Hook.
Right, we would play Valley Central, Monroe, Woodbury, Newburgh. Do you know Kingston High... Kingston... the Kingston Newburgh Free Academy? Actually... goes back to the 1800s, longest standing high school football rivalry all of America. There's no other high school in America that's got a longer football. It goes back to the 1800s.
Who was a football coach at Kingston when you were in high school?
Rick Clausey.
Rick Clausey. Yeah, Rick did a great job. He followed 1 year of Dave Gettleman, believe it or not. Coach
that guy's a bum.
But he was a good high school coach.
I want the Giants to do good this year, but if they do bad, him and Jones are going, and I can't stand either of them. Daniel Jones has an IQ of 160. That's like borderline genius. 160 is, one of my friend's kids is like 140, and she's like, in 4th grade doing like, 10th grade, schoolwork and stuff.
Right.
She's like, unbelievably smart. When I found out he had an IQ of 160, I'm like, God, this guy makes some really stupid decisions for a 160 IQ guy. But anyway.
So he went to Duke, right?
Yeah, he went to Duke and graduated with a 4.0 and never got a B and, passed it all. He was like, a genius.
Well, the whole thing about the Daniel Jones is the line, So
you still got to be able to. He can move. You got to be able to move out of the pocket and notice when the pocket is collapsing. So if your line sucks, get ready to run.
Well, he can run
or build plays to or bring a running back out of the backfield to block. Do something, because the guys that Gettleman has drafted are terrible. He's blown every single draft pick since Saquon, and he got rid of Odell Beckham. What were you thinking? I'm not happy with Dave Gettleman at all.
Yeah, I can tell that.
He looks like. Did you see him walking around in training camp? He looks like Humpty Dumpty. He's like. I can't stand him.
Well, I think he's.
You hear him talk. He's like. He just thinks he knows everything, and when he left Carolina, when the Giants, I thought it was the biggest mistake John Mara made. John Mara's not his father. When his father was alive, he made good decisions. He got good. They went out and got the best players, the best. Ernie Accorsi, good general managers, as my father used to say, and. His son is not his dad, that's for sure. When it comes,
this is. I agree with you. It's a big year for Gettleman. They need to. I think they have to have a winning record and get in the playoffs.
I think you got to win as what everybody says, you can win this division with 9 wins because everybody's pretty terrible. But the Cowboys looked pretty good last night. But if you don't win the division and at least get a home playoff game or just get a playoff game, Like, do what the Browns did last year. They were terrible for, 30 years? They finally got their act together. They put all the right pieces in there. And they scraped into the playoffs last year and beat the Steelers in the first round. They got trounced in the second round by Kansas City, who ended up going to the Super Bowl. But, they got to do something. So.
I'm still not sold on Baker Mayfield, though.
He looked good at the end of the year last year. No, I hear you. He's better than Daniel Jones.
Yeah, well, he's got a little more mobility, but we'll see. I still think the Giants are, as long as that line is straightened up, I think they're going to be pretty good. Who knows what they're going to get from Barkley, but we'll see.
Yeah, let's hope he doesn't get hurt. So you'll like the Post today. They're just tearing poor Joe. Well, I shouldn't say poor Joe Biden because he's a loser, but they don't want him talking. Did you hear his little thing about COVID last night?
No, I didn't.
Oh
no.
My God, it was terrible. He was like out at sea, like he couldn't remember what to say. He was fumbling his words.
Yeah, it's not good.
So last night at La Canard, I ran into Vince Bradley, who I hadn't seen in a while, and I was on the phone with Tony as I was going in, and I was like, hey, so Vince. He's going to confirm later today, but Vince Bradley will be coming on next Thursday at 8:30, hopefully.
Oh, great!
And then in 2 weeks, you're going to have Steve Peruso on.
Yep.
I saw him this morning. He'll be on at 7:30, which should be nice.
I haven't talked to Steve, so that should be good.
When I mentioned your name, he's like, "Oh, great!" So,
well, we're big sports guys, so
right. Well, did you ever go to Stevens when it was open?
No.
They had a great steak sandwich, garlic steak sandwich they used to have at Stevens. I used to love it. Oh, my God, it was so good. That's the only thing I ever ate in there. I never ate anything else off the menu. My uncle is good friends with Steve Peruso, and Steve's a huge Yankee fan. My God, man, he's like.
Well, he's running for alderman. I don't know what ward it is.
Yep.
I don't know what ward it is, but we'll get that.
Yeah, one. It's in Ward 1. He lives. Ward 1 is like. Over behind Bailey, like Fairview Avenue.
Oh, okay.
And, over in there.
One of the things that I've been watching on TV, and it's a really good series on Netflix. It's all about 9/11, and through the first couple episodes, and it takes you back. One of the things that's the whole thing obviously is tragic and sad, but one of the things that whenever I think of 9/11 is one of the Kingston resident, Mike Finnegan, was one of the firms in the World Trade Center was killed. And I knew Mike because he was a championship golfer when I was at the Daily Freeman. He won the Hurtigan one year. So, have you ever been to the 9/11 museum?
I went to I've been to the thing down at One World Trade Center. With
yep.
The water. Yeah, I've been there, but I don't watch stuff on TV about that because I lived in Florida when that happened, and it's too sad to watch that. I can't. I don't want to have to relive that thing again. So.
Yeah, it's
for people that are from New York, like people are like, they have a big thing on Nat Geo this weekend, like the whole weekend dedicated to 9/11, and yes, it's sad, but I'm not going to relive watching those planes fly into those towers again. It's I don't like that at all.
I was working for the Gannett newspapers in White Plains, and I was scheduled to cover a golf tournament in Long Island. And I was, I was living in New Paltz. I was just, having a cup of coffee, a little breakfast before I was getting ready for the 2-hour ride. And I was watching the news in my kitchen and saw all that. Obviously, the golf tournament didn't come off, but I can remember it almost like it was yesterday watching it. And in the museum, each person who passed away, they have a recording or a little recap of each individual. And when I went down to the 9/11 museum, I looked up Mike Finnegan, and it's just so it's hard to relive it. You're right. I mean, it's just but this documentary or 4 or 5 part series on Netflix really goes into a lot more detail stuff. And there's some footage there that I've never seen before. And it's hard to watch, but I feel so bad for all the people who lost their lives and obviously their extended family. So how old were you when that happened?
Oh, God, I was 29.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 20 years ago. I was 29.
Yeah. So
I was living in Florida, and I would just I'd only been there a couple years because I didn't move home until 2005. I mean, I was down there for almost 8 years, around 7 years, and I remember I was working. I was on the phone pitching somebody. And they're like, how can you talk about money at a time like this? I'm like, we didn't have a TV in our office like I do now. You know what I mean? The TVs were in job places. You know, TV. You go into jobs now, and TVs are everywhere.
Right.
There's always a TV somewhere. So I didn't know what was going on. So the guy's like, a plane just flew into the World Trade Center, and I'm like, what? Well, I thought he was lying. So I was like, okay. I thought he was just trying to get me off the phone.
Right.
So I called the next dude, and while I was on the phone with him, the next one hit. And then they sent us all home from work because no one was, everybody was glued to the TV for the rest of the day. And after going through those couple of days, because I had friends at the time, the Tejadas lived in Jersey City, which is right across from, like Battery Park. Right across from there. Yeah, it was messed up, man.
You know what I find interesting is that I went down to Liberty National 3-4 weeks ago, and which is opposite from the Manhattan skyline, and there's still a lot of huge buildings have been built up, which really surprises me after what happened in 9/11. But
I was actually working in the city right when they were when they put the steel up for the new One World Trade Center, and I remember I was in Washington Square smoking one day, and I looked up and you could see right through the building because they hadn't had the windows on there yet, and it was cool to watch it be built, and it's really tall. It's like 1,776 feet tall, but just to see what used to be in its place is really it's very sad. But anyway, we got a caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Rick. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Hey, George. How are you this morning?
Hey, I hope you didn't wear yourself out at that tournament yesterday.
Well, I don't know. I got a lot of good shots left. Let's put it that way.
Oh, okay, good, because I'm heading out of here a little while to meet my friend at our favorite course, Green Acres.
Yep. I'll be over there a little later after the show.
So looking forward to a good day. Supposed to be nice today for a change.
Yeah.
Nice and cool and everything else. And so how did you do at the tournament yesterday?
You know, George, it was one of those days we had a really good team. As you know, my buddy Dan Reinhardt.
Yes.
And we also had former New York State amateur champion Brian Smith, and then we had Tom Sanford, who's a really good player. And I tell you, we hit so many great shots, but it all comes down to putting. And, the front nine, we couldn't make a putt. 4 of us, 10 to 12 feet. And we started getting it rolling on the back nine, but we finished I think out of 15 teams, we were 8th, which was a little disappointing, but we had a good time.
That's what counts, is that you went out there, had fun, and had a good time.
Yeah.
You live for those 5 or 6 shots, good shots that you get every round out there and stuff.
Yeah, it was really wet because, as you know, we've had a lot of rain, and Blackhead Mountain, which is in Greene County, that's where we played. The night before, they had 2 inches of rain, so it's cart paths only, and it was really wet, but the course was still in good shape.
Oh, okay, yeah, good, because I know I didn't bother going yesterday with the rain that we had Wednesday night, because we had, like you said, a couple of nice downpours here, and we also had the chance of early morning showers and stuff, but I'm looking forward to getting out there today. And when is the Happy Christmas Fund starting up at Boise's this year?
Yeah, what is the date on that? The fundraiser, is it November 4th, Lawrence?
Yeah, November 4th.
Yeah, we're going to have the radiothon. What are the hours? So
it's always the first Thursday in November, and at 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we got a really good lineup this year, as Rick is one of them.
Yeah,
actually, I think you lead it off, Rick. Well, me and Tony are there, but you're the first host to come in. What do you want at 9?
8:30.
8:30. Okay, you were the first. So we have a really good lineup of people this year, and our goal is 100,000. And from the meeting we had the other night, I think we're going to get well over that. So I'm overly excited. I don't want to, say too much right now, but tune in on the 4th.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
George always comes down every year,
like I usually am. And hey, this is for a great cause. It's for the kids, and it's also to keep this fantastic radio station we got on the air too. So we need everybody needs to dig deep and donate to the kids and the KCR, so we'll be able to keep all these great people that we have on the radio every week on the air and get all the good information out to Kingston. So I know you guys getting ready to go to break. Have a great day, and I'll be out there starting my first 9 at about 8 o'clock, Rick.
All right, I'll probably see about I'll be on the first tee, and you'll be a 5th or 6th hole. I'm sure we'll run into each other.
Yep, as I get ready to start my second 9. So I'll catch you guys later. Have a great day, Lawrence. You do a great job, as you always do, and look forward to seeing you on November the 4th. I'll put it on my calendar.
I look forward to seeing you then, George.
Thanks for calling.
Have a great day, everybody.
Yep, thanks, George. George, he's, I'll go out to Green Acres and, I don't get there normally till 9:15. He's already halfway through 9 holes. He's got a little pull card. He plays 18 holes and really good guy.
He is. I think George was he was a mailman, I believe.
Yeah.
So being on his feet is no, it's no big deal for George. So
No. He's in great shape. So
all right. Well, you want to go to break? I think your guest is here. Okay, we'll go to break and then we'll be back with who's your first guest?
Amberley.
Okay, great.
Listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the drug facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the drug facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/drug facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here. And it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Introducing the YMCA. Sure, you know the Y for a swim or a game of hoops, but we're more than that. We're a cause. When you take a jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Practice yoga as a team practices her leadership skills. We give people of all ages, incomes, and backgrounds a chance to learn, grow, and thrive. So while you might think of the Y as the place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. That's the why. We're so much more. Visit ymca.net/more.
Have you ever experienced a wish come true? For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. One song, one dance, one game, one adventure, one moment changes everything. Make-A-Wish needs your support to grant the wish of every eligible child. Visit wish.org now to help grant more life-changing wishes. Together, we can transform lives, one wish at a time.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
Hi, this is Jared Mans from the Spring Lake Fire Department, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
Rondout Savings Bank has a long history of serving local communities and maintaining a strong tradition of customer service excellence while providing each customer with the personal attention they deserve. Rondout Savings' approach to community banking puts you and the growth of your business in the front of everything they do. They're a different kind of bank and would like to tell you why, so please reach out to one of their expert business bankers for an appointment and let them show you what they can do for you. Rondout Savings Bank, always working for you and the community with branches in Kingston, West Hurley, and Hyde Park. Also online at rondoutbank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
We're back, and I'm very happy to have a guest in the studio. Haven't had her on in a while. Amberley Jane Campbell. Now, let me get this right. Why don't you tell me your titles with the Kingston Wire and the Shawangunk Journal so I don't get them wrong?
Sure, no problem. I am one of the co-founders and the manager of the Kingston Wire, and I am the publisher of the Shawangunk Journal out of Ellenville.
I am an avid reader, particularly of the Shawangunk Journal. You guys do a great job.
Thank you.
And one of the reasons, before going back, I guess about 20 years ago now, I worked as the director of marketing and golf sales. Nice title. I made that up myself. Boss says, I don't care. I'm going to pay you the same amount of salary. You can make any title you want. But anyway, it was at the Neville Grand. And one of the things that, even going back, and I was there five years before I took over as a tourism director, I always found Ellenville a very interesting place. I loved Ellenville, and I'm pretty sure you can tell me this, if there's still that stigma attached. A lot of the people, the public officials, you know, the mayor, the supervisor, a lot of the people there still don't think that Ellenville gets its due. They feel like they're a little outpost in the far end of the county.
Right.
And I was always very sensitive about that when I was a tourism director, try to promote all the great things, because there's so many great things in Ellenville. But what I was starting to say is I love reading the Shawangunk Journal to keep up with everything that's going on in Ellenville. Chris Rowley, that's his name. He's a tremendous reporter.
Yes, he's amazing.
So anyway, so tell me how things are going in Ellenville.
Oh, boy. Well, actually, things are really cooking in Ellenville right now. We do have a buyer for the Neville property, Keith Rubenstein with Somerset. And they have, he has a plan to have a resort there and some kind of high-end homes. And so, you know, the locals are hoping that it will still be accessible to the public, and especially the rail trail back there and everything.
Sure.
And so, but that's exciting. And also we've got a couple of folks that are revitalizing the Terrace Motel. I don't know if you saw the recent New York Times article.
Yeah, really very exciting.
That was really exciting. Yeah, they did an amazing drone shot also of the property.
I didn't see that.
Well, we were happy to, you know, be reporting on this the whole time. So of course the New York Times got it from us. No.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
But no, it's really exciting.
Do they credit you?
No. Yeah, right. They're gonna put millions of dollars to revitalize the Terrace Motel, and so that's going to be really nice. And then there's also, you know, just obviously when COVID hit and we had the influx of folks from outside the area come and move here. Ellenville was kind of the last vestige of really kind of affordable housing in Ulster County. Mm-hmm. And so it's really kind of gotten bought up, even in Ellenville, right? So the storefronts are all filling up, and there's a lot of new businesses. And all these new people have formed a collective called Coffee, which is the Coalition for Forward Facing Ellenville. And they are putting on events, and they are... There's a Market on Market event once a month, last Friday of the month, and we have a table there, of course, and also they have some arts things happening, and it's really exciting. There's quite a good feeling that a lot of good things are happening, but there is still the stigma, to get back to your original question, and even it's funny because Hugh Reynolds writes a weekly op-ed for us at the Kingston Wire, and when Cresco Labs was announced to be on the Schrade slab with the 300 to 400 jobs for this marijuana plant, yep. He wrote an editorial, and he kind of still has the old feeling about Ellenville that it's crime ridden and and there's drug problems and things like that. But you know what? Every community has that to some extent. And Ellenville, I love it. It's our home away from home. So, so we had all these rains this past month, and our ceiling collapsed in the Ellenville office.
Oh, wow.
It was horrible. And so we've been packing, and things have been really crazy the last couple of weeks. And we just moved into a new place on Canal Street, almost just across the street from where we were. But we're in the old French Corner, if you remember where the French Corner was, across from Matthews.
Yeah.
So that's where we are now. And so, exciting things ahead. I'm excited to be on the ground floor, have a storefront, be more with the community and everything. And there's a lot of buzz in Ellenville for sure.
Well, I hope, and I don't know what stage, maybe you can tell me, besides the announcement of the Neville, what have they actually done?
Well, they have to go through some planning board processes with some zoning things, like the right of way for the road, and there was also some like a wetland kind of thing that they had to make sure that they had access to. So there's these little minutia, logistical things that they have to get through in the planning board, and then it will be more announced, the whole plans, but it's the very early stages.
Well, I hope it comes to fruition, because I don't know if I want to call them Neville a hidden gem, because it's not. It was very big in its time. So, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done there. The remediation. It might be a complete teardown. Yeah, other than perhaps the tower.
Rink. No, the tower is pretty well.
Is it bad now?
Yeah,
no,
it's bad.
Too bad.
It's mold-ridden. But the rink, though,
the rink
has good bones.
Okay.
And they think that they can save the structure of the rink.
It just, it's so depressing when you drive in there, and me being a golfer and realizing used to be a 27-hole championship golf course between the Neville and what is now Honors Haven. That 18 holes is totally grown over, may never come back as a golf course. And the Honors Haven for years has shouldered on, and they've done a great job over there with the building, and they kept the golf course going. But recently, a couple of years ago, they decided not to do golf anymore. And I've always maintained that the 9 holes used to be called the Falls Views, the best 9 holes in Ulster County. It was designed by Robert Trent Jones, and critically acclaimed golf course architect. So I was sorry to see that go, but I'm glad to, for Ellenville and for the owners of the Honors Haven, I hope that gets cleaned up, because it's such a bad scene if you're going to the Honors Haven and you got to see this decrepit buildings and weeds, and it's not a good look. So
no, it's not.
I hope it's successful.
Thank you. Yeah. So as you enter Ellenville from the south end of town, it will look better, because the Neville will hopefully be, and then also the Terrace Motel on the other side. So on the left-hand side when you come in, there's the terrace. So, I am hopeful, and there's a lot of good people that have good plans, and also a lot of revitalization that's already happened. Internally, they've a private citizen has replaced all of the street lights with high energy efficient, beautiful, very futuristic looking street lights, and
fantastic.
Little by little, things they're steadily improving.
Well, there's a lot of good things about Ellenville. I'm having Mayor Jeff Kaplan on the show in about 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, wow. You'll have to ask him about all the good things.
Oh,
yeah.
For sure. And I know, talking to Jeff, that the former Shawangunk Country Club and now called Joe Steckler Memorial Park is doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people playing golf there and eating at the restaurant. And, Restaurant Row.
Yeah.
Roma Time Bistro with, Marcus Giuliani. He's a fantastic chef. And Shadowland Stages doing very well, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, they actually were able to come back for a show, and they've just finished the run of the show, but it was Shakespeare. It was a funny take on Shakespeare, and it was really amazing, and we had a great write-up on it. And their Shadowland is chugging along. They're trying to do the best they can. And Restaurant Row is great. New businesses are coming in, and it's exciting.
Yeah, it's the thing that I don't like the perception of Ellenville continuing the way it is. I guess the only way to change that in some people's minds is to have a lot of development and great things. I mean, I make it a point to try to go to Ellenville, a couple times in the summer, go, eat there, play golf, and, the people of Ellenville, I think because it has always been a tourism and hospitality hub with the Nevele. The leaders still understand how important tourism and hospitality can be to the village and the town of Warsing. So the Terrace Motel, it's interesting because I didn't really know all the background of that, and it just seems like it has such a long history, and people just seem to love that place, even though it's been in not tremendous shape recently.
Oh no, it's in horrible shape. but it's whenever we write an article about it, we get so many comments, and all the comments are just everybody's memories that they have there.
Yeah.
And all these really interesting memories, of bygone era. But everybody is very much alive and well and remembers the good times. Excuse me.
Good. This is Rick Remsnyder with Amberley Jane Campbell. If anybody would like to call in, love to hear you. 845-331-9255. And Amberley, when off air, you were starting to tell me about the Kingston Business Alliance.
Oh, right.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
Right.
What can you tell me?
Absolutely. So there is a newly formed Midtown Business Alliance. Really, the businesses of Midtown felt like they needed their own kind of advocacy group. Uptown has their thing, downtown has their thing, but Midtown, is maybe an oft neglected spot in Kingston. There's a lot going on with of course, the Broadway work that they're, finally completing, which was really hampering the businesses that were already hit by COVID,
Yeah, sure.
We're newly formed. There's a lot of great businesses that are involved. Maggie from Midtown Arts District came and she spoke and kind of gathered all of our ideas into a grand plan of action of what we want to do. But there's also, Miles of Lunch Nightly and Tamika and Martin of Seasoned Delicious and Seasoned Evolution Center. And we have UPAC in there, World's End Comics, Tubby's, The Anchor, a lot of great businesses in there. And a lot of some new businesses as well of people who've moved up recently and started their own businesses in Midtown. And not everybody has a brick and mortar. There's some online businesses as well. But it's really great to see everybody get together and speak about what their needs and desires are for their business. And Midtown is special. I love our office is in the Millard Building. We watched as Planet Wings came down, and
Right.
and we've been watching the whole evolution of them putting the roadway in and changing the whole traffic structure there and everything. And I'm excited for the little pocket park that's gonna go in where it came down. And when I saw the pictures of the old post office and how absolutely beautiful it was, and in a time when I guess as a society we really didn't try to protect our old buildings as we should have, but it was such a beautiful building. But anyway, it's very exciting, the Midtown Business Alliance. So we will hopefully, we're going to be getting together again more and have some events coming up.
Good. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at a text, and I'm not going to answer that one. We talk. I'm bringing up perceptions. That's another thing. For years, you've had tremendous growth and continues in Uptown Kingston. Then you had the downtown with all the restaurants and the waterfront and the Maritime Museum, and but when going between there has always been problematic. But it seems that of course UPAC has always been a big thing in Midtown, but now it seems like there's more businesses and more growth coming to Midtown, and your business is part of that.
Yeah, thank you. I love being in the old building, but we are doing really well. The Kingston Wire is just, we're on a very upward trajectory, and always getting new readers. Thank you to everybody who reads and subscribes.
Yeah, talk about if people want to do that.
Oh, okay. So, everybody should definitely know about the Kingston Wire, which is we're now about a year old. So we started during the pandemic, and we just felt like there was so much going on in Kingston, and it really needed another light shown on it. So, we had these two amazing reporters, Jesse Smith and Dan Barton. They were furloughed when COVID hit from the Kingston Times. And, together they have 40 plus years of reporting on Kingston between them. And just this crazy wealth of institutional knowledge of everything that's happening in Kingston. And so we didn't want to let them just, fall by the wayside. So anyway, we started the Kingston Wire, and it is a digital-only news publication. So it's kingstonwire.com. And when you first sign up and you click on an article, a pop-up will appear, and you will put in your name and email, and you get 4 free articles. And after that, you can subscribe for $5 a month, unlimited reading, or you can put a little money in your account and buy articles piecemeal at 25 cents a piece. So that is the pay structure of how it works, and subscriptions and everything. And like I said, it's been really exponentially. The growth has just been exponential. It's been amazing. And as we get the word out, and now we have an amazing sales and marketing colleague, Jasmine, and she's got great plans for events that we're going to do, and town halls and everything. And actually also this Saturday, I should say, we are going to have a table at the Kingston Farmers Market, the Uptown Market, which we are a sponsor of. I love the organizers. Laura's amazing. And we're really happy to be at the market about once a month. And actually this Saturday, we will have our goats with us, which is a very big draw to the market in general, even, Laura has told me. So we have 4 family goats that are pygmy. So they're small goats, and they're very sweet, and they have a lot of personality. And so certainly come on by on Saturday and give them a pet.
Oh, well, that's very nice. Do they have names, those 4 goats?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Beanstalk, Josephine, Sugar, and I always forget the last one.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
No, that's okay. That's okay. They are really great, and I'm
sure the
friendly.
Kids love them. Right?
Oh my goodness, the kids love them. Yeah, I always take a lot of pictures because they're such a good time. But yeah, we're happy to have them.
So the farmers market this Saturday,
right?
Okay.
9 to 2.
Okay. One thing I like about your publications, the Kingston Wire and the Shawangunk Journal, is that you're able to because you have such quality reporters. You mentioned Jesse and Dan, and of course Chris Rowley. And do you have any other full-time reporters at the Shawangunk Journal? Am I missing somebody? Or
Oh, well, we have Max Freeburn as well, and we have quite a few stringers that are really quality.
Who is the columnist with the? Is it Mark Freed?
Oh yeah,
I love him.
Yeah, he's
great. I love Mark.
He's quite a character. He always accompanies us to like the Blueberry Fest,
right,
and the Pine Bush Harvest Fest and things. And he is such a character. I love him. He's so wonderful. He always makes me laugh.
Yeah, now that I'm retired, I've kept busy, and I work for some couple other weeklies. They're not competition to you.
No, it's okay.
They're Southern Ulster County, but so one of the places I cover is the town of Shawangunk. And they were doing finishing up a town comprehensive plan. And I think Mark's maybe a resident of Pine Bush, but he's certainly in the town of Shawangunk. So he was helping them go through, update the language because he's such a good writer.
Yes.
But the thing that I hadn't seen him in years, but he comes into the meeting and he's instantly recognizable because he always has that floppy hat.
He's a mountain man of sorts.
Oh,
yeah.
And he always has a unique perspective on just about everything. So he's a great columnist. But what I started to say was, talking about these reporters, that you are able to give them the leeway and the space to really get in depth in some of these stories, which I really appreciate, and stuff that you don't get in the anywhere else. Let's put it that way.
Right. Well, it's true. We are all characters, and so our publications kind of reflect this. They're not your usual, institutional kind of publications. They express that we are all kind of strange individuals that have our passions and really are interested in uplifting all of our communities and do quality work. We do give them the leeway to, they're passionate about whatever they are, and we give them the leeway to delve into that. And Mark is great because he also, they put that bridge in Rochester.
Right.
And it was, some folks called it the boondoggle of a bridge, but they had the wrong name for the waterway underneath. And so he was like, no, that's Mumbacus, and because he, brought all his old papers and these maps and everything. And so they changed the name on the bridge to the Mumbacus. So that's one of Mark Freed's claims to fame.
Is that the one on 209, the
yes.
huge one?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember when Mike Hine was the county executive, my former boss, who I worked for 10 years and really enjoyed working for Mike. He's of state government now. But there was an event very close after the bridge opened, and the event was over towards, I think it was in the town of Rochester, and he said, wow, that's some infrastructure or something like that. That's a big bridge to have in this area.
Yeah. So. But just this past month, we actually got to see that the bridge, was what they wanted to do with it. It actually was working because we had all that flooding.
Sure.
And instead of the road flooding as it always did, the bridge is so high up that it surpassed it. Yeah. So it actually worked.
Yeah, well, that's good. I spent a lot of money. I'm glad that bridge is working. So, this is Rick Remsnyder with Amberley Jane Campbell, who's kind enough to come in at early in the morning on a Friday. I appreciate that. She's from the Kingston Wire and the Shawangunk Journal. So, what else would you like to talk about?
The Wire is also going to be on Wednesday at the Ulster Chamber Business Expo.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to the Business Expo, and Alex, myself, and Jasmine will be there. And so if you are coming out or going to be there, please say hello.
Yeah.
And maybe mention that you heard me on the radio, and we'll have a nice conversation.
That is coming up
Wednesday
at Diamond Mills.
Right. Yeah.
It's usually 11 to 5, I think, maybe.
I think they made it 12 to 5.
Okay, 12 to 5.
Yeah.
So, great. Yeah, that's I love the Ward Todd, the who's president of the Ulster County Regional Chamber of Commerce, has been having the Buy Local Expo for a number of years. I really encourage people to go out there. When I was working, Ulster Tourism, we had a booth right at the entrance, and the networking opportunities there, and it really shows you all the local businesses that we have here in Ulster County, the different variety, and I'm glad to see the news media is there. That's good.
Thank
People
you.
should become aware of that, and it's such a great venue too, Diamond Mills.
I gotta say, will be my first time going there, so I'm excited to actually go after hearing so much about it.
Yeah, it's one of the really good events that we have here in the county, and like I said, it just shows off how many different types of businesses we have here in the county, and people are really enthusiastic. I always, even though I was working, I always get a bag. I had a bag,
the swag bag.
The swag bag.
You got
term swag bag. And I fill it up with all kinds of. I think I have enough pens to last me for I don't want to say a lifetime, but we have a lot of knickknacks, pens, things of that.
I could always use more pens.
Yes.
And we have pens and pads to give out as well.
Very nice. So if you need a pen and pad, please go to the Buy Local Expo next Wednesday and check the Kingston Wire. So what are you gonna, when people come up, are you going to try to get them to subscribe? I'm hopeful.
Well,
right?
sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, let them know about us. If they don't know about us, answer any questions, because people often have questions. And yeah, encourage them to subscribe and support independent local media from folks who are from here and love our community. And I do have to also say hello to my husband and my daughter, Ripley. I love you guys so much, and Ripley made sure that I was going to say hello to her, and she is off to her third day of third grade in Kingston School District.
Oh, well, Ripley, please, I hope you have a great day. Your mom is thinking about you here, even as she's doing this show, so that's very nice. One thing I wanted to ask you about, and I heard the weather was good, and I happen to know a person that had a part in the Blueberry Festival. How did that go? Was it a good turnout?
Yes. The Blueberry Fest was such a beautiful day. You really kind of pray for good weather, and it was lovely weather. And a good amount of folks came out. It wasn't too overpacked, which you don't want during COVID anyway. But there was a lot of folks streaming in and out all day. We got a ton of subscriptions. I got a lot of great photos. And I was on my skates all day.
Yes.
So I just, I was skating up and down Canal, and yeah, so the Mid-Hudson Misfits roller derby team is, I am a member of, and have been doing roller derby for the last 10 years or so.
Are you guys back in action after COVID or no?
We have been practicing outside in a parking lot because our rink is closed in Accord at the moment. But we've been in a parking lot practicing, ever since last summer, and we haven't stopped. So we actually just got back to contact. So we are hitting each other again, which is really exciting and necessary for our mental well-being.
Okay, then. You can take out your frustrations of everything else during this hitting, right?
That's it.
We got 1 minute, Amberley Jane. I have to say that many years ago, roller derby used to be on, I think it was Saturday or Sunday afternoons, and I would watch it on occasion. Do you remember when it was televised or no?
I do. I've seen the old, and they didn't even wear all the padding that we wear now. It's kind of scary to watch them from back in the day.
Really?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. They didn't even wear helmets sometimes or nothing.
I don't remember. All I can remember is the people sort of going over. They'd be bent over the railing, and then they go. Somebody hit them, and they go over the railing. Right?
That's it. Yep.
Is that what you guys do?
It's still kind of like that. Yeah. It's very exciting. Like a mosh pit on skates, but coordinated.
Well, please come back, and hopefully you can tell. You said, what was that? You said mosh pit coordinated?
Yeah, like a coordinated mosh pit on skates.
That is I love that description. I'd love to see that sometime, so please let me know when you're you actually have a venue and you're doing it, I'll come out and watch it.
You got it.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Hope you have a great third day, Ripley. And everybody go out and see the 4 goats on the Kingston Farmers Market on Saturday. And by then, Amberley Jane will know who the 4th goat's name is.
I feel terrible.
That's
Thank
okay.
you.
All right, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
We're going to go a little break, and then we're going to read some I love reading birthdays.
Well, good, because look how thick the envelope is. Look how thick that is.
Wow, I know. We got
quite
a lot
few
of
in
them.
there. All right, we'll be back in a few, folks.
Thanks, Lawrence.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Central Hudson's mobile app has a new look. It's the place to view and pay bills with ease. Check your electric and gas usage to better manage your energy consumption to save money. And report an outage, anytime, anywhere. Use the app to easily submit your meter reading to avoid estimated bills. Download it today from the App Store or Google Play. It's free and easy to use.
Learning and good nutrition does not end when school lets out. The USDA's Summer Food Service Program helps provide nutritious meals to children in low-income areas so they're better fueled with healthy food to learn and grow. To learn more about sponsoring a feeding site in your community, go to www.summerfood.usda.gov.
There was this one time I went snorkeling in the Caribbean when I was a kid. It really just blew my mind. We saw the most beautiful corals. I remember thinking they were waving at us as they moved with the ocean. And then there were all these amazing fish. I'll never forget it. It completely changed the way I look at the ocean.
Most of us have a memory of being in nature we'll never forget. Let's protect the world's natural places so more memories can be made for generations to come. Visit worldwildlife.org.
Have you ever experienced a wish come true? For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. One song, one dance, one game, one adventure, one moment changes everything. Make-A-Wish needs your support to grant the wish of every eligible child. Visit wish.org now to help grant more life-changing wishes. Together, we can transform lives, one wish at a time.
Hi, my name is Jackie Lovezzo. I'm from Lake Katrine, and I support the Kingston Community Radio because it is an invaluable resource to the community and its residents.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Okay, we're back. And even though our 8 o'clock guest thought it was next week and not this week, I think you have enough birthdays there to keep us busy for about 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think we do. Yeah, Jess Davis, so we had a little communication breakdown. I'll take the hit on that. So hopefully Jess will be able to come in 2 weeks.
You should have had her call in. We got enough birthdays.
She had a ribbon cutting or something at 8:30. So anyway, so yeah, we got a lot of birthdays here. Oh my goodness! So let's get started here. Today, which is Friday, September 10th, excuse me, we have. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this right. Jamie Chorvis. From your brother Greg?
Yeah, that's Greg's brother.
Yeah. Is it Jamie?
Yeah, Jamie. Yeah.
Very good. Just saw Greg the other night at our event planning the Christmas fund. Also today, please wish a happy birthday to Freddie Horvers from your friends at the Lunch-A-Bunchers. I love that name. Also, please wish Brian and William Pettit a happy birthday, 14 years old. Have a great day. Love, family, and friends. So that's fantastic. And so the birthday winner for today, September 10th, is Brian and William Pettit, courtesy of the Boyce Dairy Milk House and Kingston Community Radio. So go down and pick up your Boyce cow pie. I'm assuming that we have twins here, Brian and William Pettit. So that's fantastic. If it's not, please let me know. All right. For Saturday, September 11th, we have the happy 69th birthday, Diane Tamillo. Love Melly, Dougie, and Luca. And let's see, what else we have here. Please wish a happy birthday to Rita Shabbat, your friends at People's Place. We hope you enjoy your special day.
That's Christine's mom.
Oh, okay. Christine Hines' mom?
Yeah, that's her mother, yeah.
Okay. Well, guess what? Rita Shabbat is the winner, the birthday winner of the famous cow pie, courtesy of, again, Boyce's Dairy Milk House and Kingston Community Radio. A very happy birthday there to Rita. And then on Sunday, like Lawrence says, we got a lot of birthdays. Sunday.
We didn't have any yesterday.
What's that?
Yesterday was the only. We had a bunch of birthdays all week. Yesterday was the only day we didn't have birthdays. So
well, they're
starting to flow in again.
That's
nice.
Good. So Sunday, September 12th, happy birthday to Julie Eldridge from your friends and family, husband Bill, children, and grandbaby Aria. Oh, that's nice. And we also have on Sunday, please wish a happy birthday to Nicole Palmucci. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. From your friends at People's Place, we hope you enjoy your special day. And the winner is Nicole Palmucci, courtesy of Boyce Dairy Milk House and Kingston Community Radio. So there, wait, let me make sure I got them all here. Yep, that's it. So, a lot of birthdays. Fantastic.
Happy birthday to everyone. And
yes.
Whoever's birthday we didn't read, happy birthday to you too.
That's correct. So it was really nice to have Amberley Jane Campbell on. She's very talented and enthusiastic with her.
So the Kingston Wire is a internet newspaper.
Yeah, it's a digital publication. And the Shawangunk Journal's been around for a long time, is a weekly newspaper.
Now, did you guys work together at the Freeman, or you just know her through
No,
just
I actually got to know her through Kingston Community Radio.
Oh, look at that.
So
putting people together.
And one of these days, we're going to have her talk about her other passion. We started briefly, but they've been on break with COVID, is the roller derby. So she likes to do roller derby.
She actually does the roller derby, or she likes to watch it?
No, she does it.
She really?
Yeah. So
she's probably got a wicked J block. That's a roller derby term.
But she was talking about how I found this very interesting during the when they had the uptown farmers market. She goes to booths running on her skates. So. Her roller derby skates, so that's a great mode of travel.
I don't see it as much as I used to like 10 years ago because they're not. But the roller skates with the wheels on them that look like like you would be on an ice rink. They got the stop thing on the back. I used to see people riding them all around. People don't ride those much anymore. Now they're on scooters and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but she's on actually roller skates though, right?
Yeah, roller skates.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess
rollerblading used to be a big thing, and it's not as. I'm sure it's still big in Venice Beach, California, but we don't have a beach here.
Yeah, it was interesting to see that, or to hear her talk about all the things going on in Elmville, and so the Neville is something that very near and dear to my heart, having worked there for 5 years, and I hope this proposal goes further than the casino, because the casino never happened, and. But that was to be selected by the state. So if you have a private developer coming in willing to plunk the money down, it could happen.
I mean, yeah. Hopefully, it doesn't. What happens there doesn't happen to what Brad Jordan and Joe Benora are going through.
No, I think the people of Ellenville.
They're not like the people from up here. They're not as.
Well, the thing that's different about that is that
They're probably Republican.
they want it.
Yeah, they want it, right.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Nevele used to be the primary tourist attraction in that part of the county, and provided so many jobs. And
Yeah, I'd like to find out in Ellenville how many different, because of all the affordable housing we have around here, they're quick to turn down a hotel and open up more. Not Section 8, but more affordable housing for people. Why not make nice houses for, like what the Kingstonian is? Why does everything have to be, I'm starting to get tired of that. When they want to put something up that has to do with, like Rubco or HUD or something like that, that gets approved right away. But when Brad and Joe want to do something that's, the tax revenue that's going to bring in for the county and the city is like huge. And people are still shooting it down. It's just ridiculous.
Well, it seems to be moving forward, though.
No, it is. It made the leap through the Common Council. The school board rejected it, but, they're sometimes a little anal about things. But, no, it's going to go forward. But, just for a developer to come up here and why would they even want to build something? We'd have to jump all through these loopholes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's when you ask for tax breaks, that's when you're going to run. And I'm not saying that they're not necessary or warranted, but when you ask,
look at what the space is doing now. They're not the county or the city is not generating any taxes from that. And look at all the stuff that Charlie Blakeman, all the tax breaks that he got for all the buildings that he built. Why can't a local developer who's spent both of them have spent their entire lives here? Charlie Blakeman's not from around here. I like Charlie Blakeman. I'm just using him as an example.
Right.
He got a lot of tax breaks for the Kingsley, for everything. He bought a lot of buildings. He put a lot of money into the community. Well, Joe and Brad are trying to do the same thing. Why are lifelong residents getting, why are they getting held up, and then out-of-towners are 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, I don't.
They've been pumping money into this community for years.
Yeah.
Anytime we ask Brad for money, and Herzog's is an underwriter, I'm not trying to single him out or something.
Right.
And I like Brad. I've known the Jordans my whole life. My mother and father were friends with Paul and what was their mom's name? I forget what her name was. Anyway, they grew up in the neighborhood. We're all friends. And, they've been pumped. Anytime we call Brad up or, send him a letter, happy Christmas, he instantly writes a check. And he does that for everybody.
Right.
There's a bunch of people in Kingston that do that. So I'm glad that it's going forward. But you got to look at all the benefits. Yeah, of course there's some tax breaks. Look how much money they're laying out to build this thing.
Yeah.
And a 400-space parking garage uptown. There is nowhere. I live uptown. I have for the last 9 years. There's nowhere to park. If I didn't have off-street parking on John Street or a big, huge parking lot out here, which I don't park out here because it's not ideal to leave a car out overnight, but I'm just saying we could use a 400-space parking garage uptown.
Yeah.
And I know the businesses uptown would love that. Because there's nowhere to park. Now, since COVID, everybody's got their dining out. There's like very little parking to begin with before COVID. Now you see all these restaurants, they're taking up parking spaces in the street. Rough Draft is doing it. If you drive down Wall Street, besides in front of the Ulster County Courthouse and Ulster Savings Bank and maybe down by Key Bank and Citizens Bank, that's really the only places that you can park. All the restaurants are in the street, taking up parking spots, using it for outdoor dining. I mean,
yeah,
so
no,
we
definitely
need
parking. Yeah, definitely a parking lot there is necessary. And
now, remember when that old one was there? What was that like? That wasn't too long ago. They just tore it down. What, about 10 years ago? 15? Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was there at 15. When I moved home, it was still there. So that was 2005. But that thing was like a dump, man. Whoever built that didn't do a good job. But yeah, that was there for a while. I don't think anybody parked in it. Remember, the elevator broke like a year after they built it, and it was there was like homeless people sleeping there, and the stairs were like steep. You know how you walk down into a subway in New York City? The stairs are really steep. I mean, you're basically going underground. So when you're coming up the subway onto the street, I mean, you're climbing some pretty steep stairs. That's what those stairs were like. In that parking garage, they were steep, so.
Well, one thing that is finally encouraging, we're talking about Uptown Kingston, is I know Mayor Noble had a press conference, believe it was last week, talking about the renovations at Dietz Stadium. You talk about overdue. That is something. I know they got some money
about $3 million, I think he said.
Yeah, but now they believe. He's asking for another, it was either 11 or 14 million dollars. So that facility is, I go walking there occasionally, the track there, and which was put in by the Bruderhof, and they put the turf there. That wouldn't have even got done if it wasn't for the people of Bruderhof.
That was done while I was in high school. I was a junior when my first year of football, when I was in 10th grade, it was grass.
Yeah.
When we came back for my junior year, it was turf. And that's when Kingston started lacrosse. So I used to like it because you could bounce a lacrosse ball because it's concrete underneath it. It's like the old AstroTurf.
Right.
But now that what they want to do is make it more modernized like Giant Stadium. Now there's like a cushion so people aren't getting hurt. But the thing about Deed Stadium though, that brings in a lot of revenue for Kingston.
Yeah.
Other places when Kingston's not using it, sometimes we'll drive by on a Saturday night. The place will be packed. It's 2 out-of-town schools that need the track, need the field.
Football.
And that's revenue for Kingston.
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
And,
that's.
Well, they have let this go for so long that I remember talking to Steve Noble even before he took office, and I said, well, I hope one of your top priorities is to get this, so this is going back more than 4 years ago, to get Deet Stadium up to standards, because they lost a lot of state football playoff games to Middletown, and Middletown, the school district, has a wonderful facility, and the Kingston used to have all these games, and they lost them because the substandard locker rooms and concessions.
The locker room is still the same when I went there.
They're
I graduated high school 30 years ago.
Terrible. They got
over 30 years ago.
If you have more than 2 teams there, there's time. The teams that are coming in to play the next game, if they're not dressed on the bus, they're
right. Then they're not getting dressed. No.
Yeah,
I think from what Steve was saying, they're trying to just separate and put. I don't know if they're going to put another grandstand on the visitor side, but they're trying to make it separate so they don't have to see each other. Because we used to be able to hear the other coaches talking to the other, because Clausey was allowed to begin with, but you could hear people yelling. It's creepy because the walls were thin.
Yeah.
And those locker rooms weren't the nicest, but.
And the bathrooms just, come on.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's just,
and the press box, they used to have a Marty in there, see that little box on the wall right there? That's what sends our signal to Port Ewan.
Right.
And then from Port Ewan, it goes out to the rest of, the county or the city or whatever. They used to have that kind of a box in the press box, but it got vandalized and damaged because KNY, or whatever they call themselves now, Radio Liberal, they, I don't know if they still do it, but when WKNY, Chris Burns used to be the play-by-play, the Pat Summerall of Kingston football. But he told me towards the end, he's like, Larry, I used to be in there, and everything was broke. I used to have to do it from my cell phone. So someone would be back on Broadway, and he would be talking through his cell phone. He's like, I'd have to have the thing charged. He's like, because the game would go on 3 hours. He was doing the commercials, everything. I was like, God, that must have been tedious. He's like, when I went there, it was real. We used to put on the headphones. We had microphones. So I think they're going to get back to that, which would be nice.
Yeah, it's just needed so badly. And I felt bad for the Section 9 coordinator, John Ford, who used to be the New Paltz football coach and athletic director. He's the one that was mainly responsible for bringing all these state football playoff games to Deet Stadium because, it was a turf field. And
the track, too. The track is, really,
Yeah, and, the location is great for
parking.
People from other sections coming down right off the thruway. But, and Middletown's not exactly the greatest central location for those, but, the facilities are so much better. So John had always pushed for these renovations year after year after year to get done. And unfortunately, John passed away last year, but I'm hoping that this finally comes to fruition because that would certainly help not only the revenue for Kingston as far as the ticket sales and rentals, but then playoff games, people coming from out of the section, stay at the Holiday Inn.
Basically, the only time that Deet Stadium isn't used is when there's a couple feet of snow on the ground. I mean, otherwise it's used all through the fall, and then in the spring they do it for track and field. When I was in high school, they used to switch it over to baseball in the spring. So, we had a really good I didn't play baseball, but my friend Roger Stelz did, and if you were playing center field, you were pretty much to the back. You had the hill was right behind you.
Right.
So I mean, it was hard to hit a home. It was hard to hit one into the parking lot there. I'm sure some people have, but now they have a Gruner Field. Which is really nice.
Yeah, in Lake Katrine, that's really nice. That's not far from where I lived, Lake Katrine Apartments. But yeah, that's a nice facility, and I remember when they were talking about trying to keep baseball in the stadium, and I said, why? You know, that's
no, and that was a good idea when they built that, because it is a really nice field, and you know, I think I think they moved it when they put the turf there because they couldn't switch over then, right? Because did the turf and the track go down at the same time?
Yes,
yeah,
I think so.
So
yeah,
that's when baseball became.
Yeah,
so Gruner Field must have got built after. So where did they play in between? Because Gruner Field didn't get built the same year that the track and turf went on. It was a couple years later, right?
They used to play out in the field.
The cornfields?
No, not a cornfield.
No, but you know where they play softball?
Over where they play where they have the what's the school there? I should know the school by Gruner Field. What is that?
Miller?
Yeah, Miller. They used to play baseball at Miller. There's a couple
baseball fields out there.
Yeah, ball fields are. They still play softball there because I walk by there, and they have Pat Burke Field. She used to be the longtime softball coach, so they play Kingston softball. But the baseball used to play in that field. I can remember people talk about cold. Like, you know, covering high school football to me was never that cold because September, October's, and you know, it get a little chilly.
It's over by before Thanksgiving. Right?
Yeah, and you would dress for it. But so when you would play high school baseball over, for instance, over there at a Miller Field, I mean, you'd have a day in May that you would think would be nice. It'd be like 50 degrees and a wind would come whipping through there.
Or when you guys would start practicing, it would be pretty much when the snow came off the ground because you start, you know, basically it's spring. And, baseball is sometimes. I've been to Yankee games in April freezing my tush off a couple of times. I'm like, I'm like, this is colder than a Giant game. And I've been at some cold sporting events, man. Me and my dad, before he passed away, we were like, you know what? We've been to enough Giant games. Unless they're like this year, I'm going to 2. One of them's in. They play the Dolphins. And my friend that I'm picking up at the airport today, me and Cam are actually going down, and we're going to go see them, watch them play the Dolphins. And then they play the Cowboys on the 19th, and then there's 2 more games after that, and I'm not going to either of those. I donated, or my mother donated to the Boys and Girls Club, to Dan Whalen for their annual, they do a raffle, to raise money for the Boys and Girls Club. And actually, Larry Circasano won the tickets this year. and then I give them to other people. Like I gave you 4 to, the Patriots last week or a couple weeks ago. I gave a couple to Dr. Stanberg. Just give them to the hosts. To thank them for, working every day for free.
Yeah, there's nothing like going to a Giants game in December.
Well, when they were at the old stadium, this is one of the problems I had. We were talking about this at the at the thing the other night at Old Savannah, because Greg has season tickets too, and I don't know where he used to. Because I know when at the old stadium, him and Greg Hellsmortal, who used to be on Wednesdays with him, they used to sit, and my dad used to have a bunch of seats. They sat in these seats that me and my dad couldn't stand. They were in the end zone in the mezzanine, but you were out of the weather. So when they built the new stadium, we're like, I was saying to Greg, they didn't need it. The Giant Stadium was fine. But the thing that used to piss off the opposing teammates, do you remember the tunnels that used to be in Giant Stadium? Well, the wind in the Meadowlands, as you know, is brutal. I mean, your whole tailgate table can take off, and end up, be gone. So they used to open up those garage doors, and the kickers couldn't even get the ball. They wouldn't be able to kick it. Now, that home field advantage is gone with the new stadium, and you can kick a 50-yard field goal in MetLife Stadium with no problem because there are no tunnels. There's just one door, and it's behind the bench. The other things, it's not like the old one. So there's only one stadium. Like now, that architect that built, he did 3 stadiums like that in 19s. They started building them in the end of 75. It was ready for the 77 season. I forget the architect's name. He did Giant Stadium first. Then he did Joe Robbie down, which is still there. It's called something else, but it's still the same, with the turnstiles outside. And then he did the one where the Chargers used to be, the Jack Murphy Stadium.
Right, Jack Murphy.
Yeah, so those three were all designed, and they're the same exact, identical bathrooms. The outside turn where you can, the thing that the spiral staircase.
Right.
That you walk. They had them on all sides. And the thing that I liked about the old stadium is not everybody wasn't rushing to one escalator. Now, I have to leave the car. Usually we like to tailgate till like 12:30. I have to pack up at like 11:45 to get in there because if you get there too late, it's a mad dash for the escalator, and you'll never get. It'll take you an hour. It'll take you forever to get to the upper deck. In the old stadium, everybody went to. If you were on the lower deck, you had your own escalator. Mezzanine, own escalator. Upper tier, own escalator. So it was easy. Now, say the game goes until it's a close game, goes into overtime, or everybody still stays. It's insane trying to get in and get out with everybody making a dash for the door. Like whoever designed this new stadium, they weren't thinking about. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, but I figured out a way. You can take the elevator. Okay, me and my dad figured this out a couple years before he died. He's like, "Oh, I hate this walking crap." I'm like, "I don't blame you, Dad. You've been there for 10 hours. The last thing you want to do is walk 2 miles back to the car because you got to go up and down stairs, all this stuff." So I said, "You know what?" He wasn't feeling well that day. This is, he had a headache or whatever. So I see this guy sitting over there. There's elevators. You tell him where you're sitting. You show him your pass. Say, "My father, he's not." You don't even have to really give him any excuse. Just say, "Hey, I got my dad with me. We want to take the elevator." They'll let you take the elevator. You get in the elevator. There's a TV. You can. It's like what? It's awesome.
Wow.
So now I take the elevator. But when I'm with all my friends, I don't do that because I don't want to. First, I don't want to blow it up so no one finds out about it.
Right.
And but that's one of the things that me and my dad used to do.
Well, that's nice.
And,
well, I'm glad you discovered that. That's. I'm sure
his eyes were better than mine. He always wore his glasses. Sometimes I can't tell you how many pairs of glasses I lost at Giant Stadium. And he would be like, "What are you doing?" Anyway, but going to Giants games, that's when I miss my dad all the time, but I end up missing him the most there because we must have went to a couple hundred games together.
Well, that's something.
Since he started taking me. I remember when I was a little guy, and they all used to get in the camper. My mom used to make eggplant and Bloody Mary. They used to all the people from the neighborhood. They'd have the big Winnebago from Albany Avenue garage, and me and Pat Murphy would be climbing in it. And my dad would be like, "Well, you got to wait a couple more years." It's because the Giant fans back then were, back in the early '80s, late '70s. The Giants weren't winning many games. They were terrible. This is before LT. They didn't draft LT to '81. Then they started getting better, but it still took 4 years for them to win a Super Bowl with all that. But I used to get mad. My grandmother would be like, "Oh, a couple more years." So I had to wait till I was 10 to go to my first game because he's like, "That's when you'll be old enough." He's like, "I want you to understand the game." But then from 10 until, he died when I was 44. We never missed a game. We always, even when I lived in Florida, I always flew home. They went to the year they lost to the Ravens in the Super Bowl. He flew me home for both playoff games.
That's nice.
And they were back-to-back weeks. Like I would, I'd land on a Monday, then I'd get right back on the plane Friday. Go, too bad they lost that year. Oh, I think your guest is calling in. Hang on a sec.
I think we have Robert Selkowitz calling in.
We'll take Robert right now, and I'll just do a big break at the end of 9. How's that, Rick?
That sounds good.
All right. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning.
Robert, Rick Remsnyder, how are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm ready to talk.
Well,
that's good because we're tired of it.
Yeah, well, I'm very happy that you called in this morning. You're a longtime friend, and before we get into talking about the rally, I just want to say that I met Robert, I would say, 15, 16 years ago.
That's true, yeah.
And he's a very accomplished painter. And talk about your that facet of your work before we get into the road rally.
What I've realized is that I am a cultural entrepreneur. I've made a living. I have a career as an artist, but I've also always done research projects and community work and cultural projects. And it's like every 10 years I get into something very deeply, and this rally is the result of what I think of as a historical wormhole that I fell into. Back when I met you, Rick, I was part of the Central Catskills Collaborative. This was back when Elliot Spitzer was the governor. And I was living on Route 28 in Ashokan in the town of Olive. I've had 5 houses in 5 different towns in the Catskills since 1975. And for 5 years, I lived on Route 28 in the village of Andes. And that's when I put together my first really cultural collaborative project based on the history of medicine in the Catskills. I was hired as a folk life research coordinator by the Irv Catskill Cultural Center and asked to develop a program. And we had bought the Victorian Pharmacy building in the village of Andes, which led me into the idea of exploring the history of medicine. And I put together a traveling multimedia exhibit with workshops that was really interesting, fascinating. And then my position ended. I went back to school for an MFA in painting at Bard, and then developed an interest in Victorian architecture and verandas, did 65 paintings in Cape May, New Jersey, which led to my being the first living artist featured in Historic Preservation magazine of the National Trust for Historic Preservation and Victorian Homes magazine. And then I got interested in the philosophy behind the architecture, which led me through Chautauqua Institution to travel to 48 communities around the country, lecturing and painting, and this while living in Rosendale. Then, in '96, we moved to Ashokan, and I set up a studio and started doing pastels and paintings in the mountains, which eventually led me to the collaborative as alternate representative from the town of Olive. And we decided we would pursue the Catskill Mountain Scenic Byway as an enterprise to unite the municipalities, 7 municipalities. And in the course of that, we were also working to promote the creation of what is now the Catskills Visitor Center in Mount Tremper, which was an idea, an inspiration from Congressman Maurice D. Hinchey, more than 30 years ago, which has come to fruition. And so I was, in all of these meetings, so you can imagine the number of meetings that are involved. And we finally got the Scenic Byway established, and we were looking for what Carol O'Byrne from the Central Catskills Chamber of Commerce described as signature events for the byway. And I raised my hand at a meeting and said, what about an automobile event commemorating the 1903 Automobile Endurance Run, which came up the Esopus Valley on October 7th, 1903. And everybody said, great idea. So I resigned from all the boards and set up Historic Automobile Endurance Runs, LLC, and began working to create an event that wouldn't be a reenactment with cars of 1903, but would be a commemoration of the pioneers of automobiling and, as it turned out, road building. Because I discovered that in 1898, New York passed laws allowing the bonding of public money for road building, and that 20 miles of crushed local bluestone macadam paving had been put down through the Esopus Valley to Pine Hill, which caused the National Association of Automobile Manufacturers to come this way on what became an 800-mile journey via Buffalo and to Pittsburgh. So the whole story is really amazing, and I've been working each year to develop it, to reach out to different groups. We actually attract all demographics of the enthusiast car culture community. We have everything from, well, we have cars of every decade. We've had a range from 1913 to 2019. We get Model Ts, sports cars, muscle cars, SUVs. I say, if you love your car, come and drive it on this route, because it's a celebration of the beautiful driving that we have here, and we focus on Ulster and Delaware County. And it's amazing. And my deadline for my rally book, which I publish and expand each year, is next Friday, next Thursday, so I'm under some pressure now to get things done. We have a 1932 Pierce Arrow that's heading our field this year, which is exciting to me because there were 17 original American makes that took part in 1903. Some fell by the wayside within a few years, and others became great American makes that survived at least into the years of the Depression, and Pierce Arrow was one of those. In the past, we had a Franklin Roadster, we've had a Packard Roadster. So, I'm very excited. And I should stop and give you room to ask a question if you have one, or to say something.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for all the wonderful pastels, watercolors that your wonderful paintings that you donated that I could use the images in the travel guide for a number of years. They always spruced up the guide. They're so beautiful. So I want to thank you for that. And let's get on into, I can't believe now that it's the 5th annual Catskill Conquest Rally. I remember when you came into my office, it had to be 6-7 years ago, talking about this rally.
Right.
And it's grown in leaps and bounds and has become one of the really interesting and much anticipated events. How much have you enjoyed starting from the ground level and seeing it blossom over now? You're into your 5th year.
Well, it's really been very gratifying, and my history. I spent my study hall years in high school drawing cars. And I went to Cornell University School of Engineering to design and build racing cars. But it was '69, it was the Vietnam era, and I didn't feel the draw in engineering for my soul, and I turned to painting. But I always kept cars, in my field of interest. I had a Triumph in college, and eventually had an old a '62 Jaguar Mark 10 saloon after we sold my van, and so. Then I started going to Lime Rock to draw cars at the Vintage Sports Car Club of America fall finale, which evolved into the Vintage Festival that just happened. And so with this project, I started visiting groups and clubs from all eras of automobiling, starting with horseless carriage. And and the drawing was a connection. I've done hundreds and hundreds of drawings of cars of every decade at this point. And so it was just feeling out how I could attract the right group that would appreciate and be able to make use of the roads that we have. And now I have the Vintage Sports Car Club of America, the VSCCA, endorsing the rallies. I have a number of their members that come out. And the Corvette Club, the first Capital Corvette Club in Kingston, in the Hudson Valley, I have 5 of their members coming. And now the Ferrari Club is talking about it. I have 4 Ferraris that are coming, starting with a 1961 Ferrari 250 GTE. And, so you think about it, that car, 61, is, how old? It's like 60 years old. And so the ages of the cars just, it's really interesting how it goes through all demographics. And we've got about 45 cars. Last year with COVID, we didn't know what we would, do, but we said we'd proceed with masking and social distance. And we had 54 cars. I had people coming from 6 states, in LaSalle's, in Packards, in, Chevys, and just to enjoy the camaraderie and the beautiful experience. And so the rally book also has a collection of additional tours that I developed, enthusiast drivers tour loops, because I have sponsorship, support from Ulster County Tourism, from Delaware County Economic Development, and I wanted to create something that could be used as a tool for, any day of the year, not just September 25th when the rally happens. So the rally book includes this portfolio of tours. And also online, we have a website at 1903autorun.com, 1903autorun.com. And in that website, there are, the maps and the directions for these tours, as well as the description of the history, as well as documentation of each of our Catskill Conquest rallies. So that is what I've been pursuing, and we started out, with a thin book the first year. Last year we were 82 pages. This year we may have to go to a ring binder, working with Chrissy at Copy Hut, who's been doing the printing, to get the 2021 issue out. And it's been great. Plus, there is a fee involved in this. The fee is now $100 per car. It includes catered bread alone, baked goods breakfast with a start at the Catskills Visitor Center. It includes a copy of the rally book and the experience. We're going from we follow the Catskill Mountain Scenic Byway. We're following through all of the hamlets along the way, which are the old road. 28 is now, it's built up. It's a modern highway. And we cut through Fleischmann's. Well, we go through Phoenicia. We go through Pine Hill. We go through Fleischmann's. We go through Arkville. We go through Margaretville. We stop at the Cauliflower Festival in Margaretville, where we are able to park within the field. People can stop for, a brief visit, have a little bit of a car show so people can see the cars. Then we'll go through Andes. We go up to Delhi. And then this year, I'm taking us from Route 10 up Elk Creek Road to East Meredith, where we're visiting the Hanford Mills Museum, a 19th century working water-powered sawmill. That's a great little campus. And then we're going to cut back to Route 28 and go by with a stop at Polar Bear Ice Cream and more, and then into Franklin, where this year we're going to end the rally in Franklin at the Franklin Railroad and Community Museum. John Campbell there has been a great supporter. They've got a beautiful private Pullman car, about 90 feet long, in a modern steel building with... There's also going to be a fashion exhibit there that Tim Jordan from the Delaware County Historical Association is putting together. And then the Village of Franklin, which has 4 restaurants, including the Tulip and Rose Cafe and Yokels, and there is Gary Graham. Let me check this now. Gary Graham is a fashion designer who was on Making the Cut with Tim Gunn and Heidi Klum, and is a wonderful designer. My family ladies love him, and his atelier will be open in Franklin in one of the historic storefronts where there's a great shop filled with antiques and stuff. So this was all to promote tourism and to promote the enjoyment of our region, and to bring in people that wouldn't ordinarily venture forth into these areas. I may have one person, resident of Delaware County, who has entered in the rally. And I lived in Andes. Painting the farms and the mountains in Andes has always been, a great pleasure for me. I go out there all the time. For more than 40 years. So it's a beautiful landscape. And the roads, the paving, I'm noticing a lot of new pavement here in Ulster County as well. And it's just a pleasure. It's a huge investment. When I first started promoting this, you remember, Rick, I brought in a map.
Yeah.
And that map was the 1907 New York State Engineers map showing the progress in road building since those laws were passed in 1898. And it was a revelation to see how the roads were spreading from the towns. You can see the network going out from Kingston, from Saugerties, from New Paltz in Ulster County. And in the Delaware County Historical Association, we found they had the complete set for every county in New York State of the original New York State engineers' working blueprints for these maps. And they're hand-drawn with color codes to show what is complete, what is in proposal, what is planned. It's amazing. And I have a wonderful cartographer, Liz Cruz, Cruz Cartography, who provides beautiful professional maps for our rallies, but has also taken some of these original engineer blueprints and put them together in a composite. And the rally book includes a composite map of 5 Catskill region counties showing how each county has varied and the development of our network of roads that we take for granted. It's amazing. You know, we talk about infrastructure, and the buildup over 100 years, you can see the original organic network of the old roads on these maps, and then the layover as the network of state and county roads was developed. So, you know, there's a lot that goes into thinking and developing this, and, you know, it's not exactly full-time for me, but I seem to be always thinking about it.
You seem to put a lot of hours into it. This is, by the way, this is Rick Remsnyder. I'm on with Robert Selkowitz, who is the director and of the Catskill Conquest Rally, which will be held Saturday, September 25th. I encourage people to go on the website that Robert mentioned, the 1903, which is 1903autorun.com, because they have all kinds of information about the rally, and there's some wonderful pictures you have here, and all vintage cars. And, you know, you look at them, you have a 1928 Bentley, 1960 Bentley, and then you have some, you mentioned the 1932 Pierce Arrow, but then you have a 2005 Lotus Elise. I mean, you have all different automobiles on there. How do people respond when you're on the road and they're going the other way? Do you get a lot of public response, people honking their horns, or it must be quite a sight when you have, let's say in 2020 you had 54 automobiles on the road. How has the response been, and when you stop at all these stops along the way that you mentioned?
Well, you know, for me personally, up until this year, I was driving my 2014 Dodge Grand Caravan, which I love. But the visual impact is really strongest at the start. Excuse me, because you know, people come to the visitor center and they kind of line up, you know, around the circle and fill the parking areas, and everybody's looking at everybody's cars. You know, it's fun. And there are some groups that are, you know, several cars of friends that come, and people meet each other. We just do a gathering at the beginning.
What time is that at, Robert, if people want to go to the Catskills Center and see that?
And then, you know, they also just like leaving, you know, we have the kiosk that we have at the beginning of the visitor center area, and everybody will drive past that. The Emerson, one of our great sponsors, is sending a photographer. They're going to do some posting on social media. And I should mention some, you know, of my sponsors here. Sawyer Motors has been great. East Lake Motors, of course, Delaware County Historical Association, Diane Galusha at the Town of Middletown Historical Society, Carol O'Byrne from the Byway and the Central Catskills Chamber, DCHA and Tim Durden, John Campbell at the Franklin Railroad and Community Museum, and you have been with me for these years as we develop. The Emerson has been great. They're a mile from the start. They offer a discount, for people registering for the rally. And now it gets to be hectic, because I'm getting more entries and people are looking for places to stay, and we have accommodations recommended in the website. We try to do our best. And as far as, it's not really a great parade of cars, although, I try to stagger them so they go out. People want to drive at their own pace. I want to release them for the day to enjoy the day in the way that, just to drive at their own pace. So they will go through the hamlets, but it's not like, I could say at, 11 o'clock they will be here. At 12 o'clock they will be there. Because people are on their own, and they can stop, in the hamlets. I've heard from, the navigators or wives or, companions that they really like it because there's no competition. There's no time, speed, distance. There's no looking for clues. You just follow the map, follow the directions, stop where you want. It's just a day of driving enjoyment, and that's what I say is for the pure enjoyment of driving. So that's it. I mean, there's I've done 3 rallies this year. This is my 3rd rally. After last year, people said they didn't want to wait a year. They didn't, they wanted to do it again. And in the rally book and on the website, there is Catskills Covered Bridge Rally. And so 3 weeks after the Catskill Conquest, I had 20 cars registered for the Covered Bridge Rally. We crossed 4 historic, restored 19th century covered bridges in Sullivan and Delaware County. We crossed both branches of the Delaware River on 19th century covered bridges. These are all bridges that have amenities that allow for a group of cars to park, park amenities. We stop at the Van Tran Bridge in Livingston Manor, the Beaver Kill Bridge on the Beaver Kill. Then we go to Downsville and then Hamden, and then I take them back over the Delancey Road into Andes. And it's 60-something miles, 80 miles, whatever. It's a good day of driving. The Catskill Conquest this year, because we're going to East Meredith to Hanford Mills, instead of ending in Unadilla on the Susquehanna River, which was a crossing they made in 1903, we're stopping in Franklin, and it's 81 miles out. And then if you want to come back to Mount Tremper directly, it's 66 miles. So, it's manageable. And while the fee is, $100, it's not thousands of dollars, and it's not $20. For $20, you can go to a car show and park and put your hood up and sit behind your car for 4 hours in a lawn chair. And people do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's a split between touring people and show people. And this, my rallies are geared for people who love to drive. And I just have to accept that.
I see that on the website, route maps will be distributed from the starting point at the Maurice D. Hinchey Catskill Visitor Center in Mount Tremper, and there's a downloadable map on the PDF file. What time are you starting on September 25th, Robert?
Well, I'm asking people to gather at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
But we will have, our gathering time. I should say that recently elected State Senator Michelle Hinchey will be attending our start. Michelle and my daughter Judah were classmates in elementary school. I've known the Hincheys for, many years. And I'm thrilled that she's able to come to the visitor center that was her father's vision from probably around the time she was born. And Congressman Maurice Hinchey is actually interred, has a gravesite on the grounds by a small community grave yard. And, that's just wonderful. The visitor center itself has just been reopened to the public. The bathrooms are open. There are new exhibits. They have a large covered pavilion where we've staged our, breakfast and registration. So I'm asking people to show up around 9 o'clock, and I expect to release the cars sometime around 9:45, or, after people get a chance to settle in, and I give a little orientation talk. If people want to join the rally, they should go to the website. They can email me at 1903autorun@gmail.com. I ask people to fill out a form and send a check payable to Historic Automobile Endurance Runs, LLC. But if they email me, because the deadline for getting in the rally book is next Friday or next Thursday, they should at least contact me by email. I need their email because I send out orientation emails to prepare people for the day so I don't have to give a long speech. We print out a beautiful full-color 11 by 17 map that is inserted into the rally book. We did this last year because of COVID. I changed the route. The Cauliflower Festival was canceled. I decided to branch off the historic route on some of my favorite roads, up Cabin Hill through Delancey and then to Treadwell and Franklin. And so that's what we're doing this year. I'm making an 11 by 17 full-color map that will take us to East Meredith this time and then back on the historic route. And the historic route map is always in the rally book. If people are hearing this and they say, that sounds like fun, I'd like to do that, there is still time to register. I say that, I was going to limit it at 60 cars, and we're at about 45 right now. But I don't like to disappoint people, and, there's a decal for your car, there's a magnet for your fridge or whatever, and I need to have a supply of those. And also I have to order the breakfast, so I need to know basically a count of who's coming. But if people are interested, there is still time to do it. If you can't drive on the September 25th, you can still make, the drive on your own time. And I may end up doing the Covered Bridge Tour again because it's a blast. It's fabulous driving. We go up 28 to Big Indian, turn left over the Oliveira Road past Winnisook Lake, and we follow 13 water courses through really part of the wild forest of the Catskill Mountains and cross these 4 bridges and end up in Andes. It's wonderful.
Well, I've always maintained that Route 28 and then going the route that you have is one of the most beautiful routes in the county, and then of course it goes into Delaware County. It's a wonderful. I encourage people to drive there all the time, but September 25th, you might want to show up at the beginning of the rally and take a look at those wonderful cars. I have to compliment you, Robert. You started out in 2017 with 20 cars. Last year, even during COVID, you were able to get 54. You've done a wonderful job. It's great for tourism, and you've brought a lot of people that otherwise may not know about Ulster County and Delaware County, both of the counties. So kudos to you on that. And what if you had to? We only have a few more minutes left. Is there anything else you would like to wrap up before we say hello or goodbye?
Yeah,
we already said hello.
The New York State engineer in 1900 said, when completed, this will be one of the most beautiful drives in New York State. So
yeah.
I encourage that. And also now I'm thinking further afield. I ran a rally for the Saratoga Auto Museum in May, Saratoga ABC Rally. We visited artist battlefields and covered bridges. And now I'm looking at the Schoharie and Lunenburg turnpikes from Athens to Sharon Springs, going through Greene and Schoharie County, just to get further afield. My family thought I should have a more appropriate car, and they helped me get a 2003 Mazda Miata. So now,
nice.
It's like I still have my van, but now I have my Miata. If you go to my Facebook page, it's there. And so So it's been great. Now I got to go out and drive these roads again. The pastels. So I did a book on the Catskills back in 2004 called "The Painter's Path Through the Catskill Mountains," which had maps showing where all the paintings were done. So I've been thinking about this, through my creative life, and I see we're getting close to the end. So Thank you, Rick, for calling me.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Robert. You've always done a great job with this. Good luck I hope you have some nice weather on September 25th, and have a fantastic weekend.
Well, that's the icing on the cake is the weather. I hope we're lucky.
Okay, take care, Robert.
See you. Come out and visit us.
Okay, will do.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. All right, Lawrence.
What are you doing today, Rick?
I'm going over to Green Acres. I'll see George, play a quick night, and then we'll take it from there. I got a high school.
I got to go to the eye doctor, and then I got to go to the airport. So I'm glad they're going to put drops in my eyes. It's my annual. Well, actually, I do a biannually now. Go to Chima and get my eyes done. So I got a 9:15 appointment. All right, everybody have a good weekend, and we will be back on Monday with Medical Monday. Take care.